Look, I'll start with you then. I mean, Chelsea looked good last night, didn't they? I don't know if you watched their game, but Chelsea looked really solid last night.
Yeah, like, Chelsea, I hate to say it, here he's back. They are looking good. Obviously, we played Ghent. We beat them 4-1. Bit better than what Chelsea did, but you know what I mean? They're maybe starting to take this competition more seriously after they had those struggles against Serbia at the, to qualify. They're realizing it's not as easy as they thought it would be and taking it more seriously. And yeah, so far this season, Chelsea have exceeded expectations, but we're waiting to see the big challenges, the big games, the real tough challenges, how they can perform. But yeah, Don, I don't know what you thought, mate. Now you're back. Look, the internet's looking crisp. How you feeling, mate?
Bro, you know what it was? I had all my work tabs open, so I closed all of them, innit? But yeah, bro, listen, right now, you're spitting facts, man. At the beginning of this tournament, it was obviously at the beginning of these lot trying to learn what Maresca's trying to do. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, we literally make 11 changes for this competition. So these lot have to learn how to play together. But one thing that I'm noticing now, Terry, is that the second team is now understanding what's expected from the first team, right? On and off the ball. Yesterday we controlled the game. Off the ball, we're winning the ball back within like 5 seconds, bro. I know we obviously conceded 2 goals, but they were more just lapse of concentration. Like the first goal, everyone got sucked into the fucking ball. Everyone was ball watching. We left my man by himself back post. And the second goal, these lot just kind of took their foot off the gas. It was like easy. We're about to win the game. You shouldn't be doing that. That's something Maresca spoke about towards the end of the game. Well, after the game, he said, yo, we need to be professional throughout the whole game. You can't be looking at it and thinking, yeah, it's easy. It's an easy win now. It would have been a better scoreline if we didn't concede a goal. But very good performance yesterday from Dewsbury Hall. He's someone that's been getting cooked by the fan base, because
Wait,
he has...
John, I have to call you out on your Michael Owenism there. You said it would have been a better scoreline if we didn't concede a goal.
Well, yeah, of course.
Like, isn't that obvious?
No, but the thing is, what I'm saying is we controlled the game pretty much. We controlled the game. I didn't really feel under any threat. It was just lapses of concentration is what I'm saying. So if we obviously beat them 4-0, it would have looked a lot better is what I'm saying. Yeah, 4-2 makes it look like it was a bit of a funny one. You know what I'm trying to say? It wasn't a funny game. If you watch the game, it was very, very smooth sailing. I didn't feel any threat from these guys, right? And they weren't even that bad. We were just a lot better than them, yeah? Mudryk, another good game from him. People will try to tell me, oh, yeah, well, it's only the Conference League. If he doesn't perform in the Conference League, they'll say he can't even perform in that competition. Him and Vega right now, they're actually building a nice relationship. And what I've noticed about Vega when he plays with Mudryk, he trusts him. He constantly gives him the ball. And for me, I feel like that helps Mudryk and gives him the confidence, bro. Because when you're playing football and you feel like your teammates don't want to pass to you, it makes you feel like you're shit. You know what I'm trying to say? So the fact that he's getting the ball a lot is actually helping him now. And he got a very good assist for Vega. Vega, again, I actually put in my that list that you sent before the season, Terry, for like what players to look out for.
Yeah.
And I put Fatal, right? And again, he's another player I had no idea about. We just signed him. We got the here we go out of nowhere. But bro, he's been a breath of fresh air, man. He comes in very physical at the back. He can play multiple positions. The way he plays it in between the lines, the leadership, like I've said, he just brings that dog into the team. You know what I'm trying to say? Because we were too weak last season. Our manager was weak, and our players it was leaking down to the team. So for him, very good performance. I was happy with Dewsbury Hall for his goal as well. It kind of felt like a I'm here moment finally at Chelsea, because obviously to move from Leicester to go and move to a big club, it takes a little bit of getting used to, bro. You're playing with better players. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's a similar...
I haven't really understood. Again, I haven't seen it. Maybe you the whole cooking of him by your fan base. I first time I've heard anyone say that is you saying it, but I know you're not lying. That just strikes me as sort of strange, really, because I know you've had there've been some midweek games now, but it's your manager's been finding the formulas that work. It's been working, which means there's been very little room on Premier League match days for changes and opportunities. And then when your team has had changes, it's a whole group of, it's nearly in the League Cup games and in the Europa League games, it's been anywhere between sort of 8 to 11 changes per game with players that have built no chemistry with one another, unlike the main sort of 8 or 9 players that have played the majority of your Premier League games. It's going to take a little bit of time for that to kind of like come to fruition, as an example. But the one thing you said that I think is so important and this is about, I always call this out, like keeping the same energy. Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp for the past 8 years were praised for the fact that their team, like their teams looked the same in terms of how they played, no matter how many changes happened. The kids would come in from the academy for a League Cup game and they would look the same. They'd have 3 or 4 injuries. They may not win every game because the quality would be lower, but they'd have 3 or 4 injuries and the team would kind of be able to complete the manager's instructions, follow the game plan in the exact same way. And in a very short space of time at Chelsea under Maresca, it feels now after 3 or 4 failures in terms of the head coaches, you were getting that right. And I think it proves a lot of people like yourself, me, Ches, right in the sense of, although there were some player issues last year and some have been moved on and you've improved in the market, I think it just goes to prove that Poch was that big issue that a lot of us were talking about last year, where he just wasn't getting the best out of individuals. His structures weren't working and consistently playing players out of position. And it just feels that everybody at Chelsea looks so much more comfortable this year. That's why there has been such strides forward in the way you play.
Exactly, bro. And if you look, he's you know, so many individuals are starting to improve. You know, the likes of Colwill, you know, he's improved a lot. Cucurella's just carried on doing what he was doing last year. And ultimately, that makes the team play better, right? If you're improving players individually, the team as a whole will start to look a lot better. I kept saying last season, Terry, football is not rocket science, right?
Yep.
Poch kept coming out talking about experience. We haven't got that. We haven't got this. And I kept telling you, bro, you shouldn't have taken the job then because you knew the cards that you were dealt with. Maresca hasn't complained about the squad once. I know it's been boosted, but even if we had him last season, bro, I reckon we win a lot more games and probably even get top 4, right? Because this is a manager that I looked at. I'm looking at the likes of, again, what's his name? Dewsbury Hall. He spoke about how clear he is in terms of the coaching. Harry Winks spoke about how it's the best manager that he's had. People will laugh at that because he's had Mourinho. But end of the day, Harry Winks played his best football with this manager. Yeah. When West Ham beat us a couple of seasons ago, he was the guy that actually done all the tactics and that. Remember that season, Lawless? I think it was 2019 when under Pellegrini, yeah? He was the one that actually done the tactics and they were looking to sack Pellegrini and apparently he was meant to take over on a short-term basis. I don't know what happened after that, but he was the guy doing it. So I've been familiar with Maresca and I did say he's going to surprise a lot of people. You know, he's going to surprise a lot of people and that's what he's doing right now, man.
Do you not give some credit to the fact that we look at last season under Poch, right? Towards the tail end of the season, we did start to see a massive improvement in Chelsea. You started to pick up the results. And then obviously, you know, Poch goes. So certain Chelsea fans were sort of disappointed because, you know, things were improving. And now Maresca's kind of benefited. Like he's come in off the back of what was a Chelsea on the upward trajectory. And that's what he's inherited. Not to take anything away from Enzo, but he's not coming into the mess that Poch came into. You know what I mean? So he's kind of benefited from that.
Into a mess. He created a mess. He's the one that created the mess. He's the one that decided to play Ben Chilwell left back. He's the one that decided to play Disasi right back. He's the one that decided to play Colwill left back. He's the one that was deciding to make the whole team imbalanced, bro. Yeah, no one else, right? He had enough. He had more than enough players there, even with injuries, Lawless, to put out a basic lineup. That's all we was asking for as Chelsea fans, bro. And he did it 6 months later. He comes out talking about, oh, we're still working out the profile of the players. That's a massive red flag. He didn't know how to use the team. Same thing as Ten Hag. Ten Hag does not know how to use United players, right? There's a lot of players in United's team I don't really rate like that, but they're better than this. Yeah, they're better than this. I could pick out so many managers that can do a better job than what Ten Hag has done. You know, so he warped a lot of people's minds, bro. Gerrard warped a lot of people's mind. Aston Villa were in the relegation zone. Emery comes in, he gets them to finish 7th, bro, that season. Yeah, and if you looked at that team at the time, I remember I kept saying Aston Villa are not as bad as this. It's the manager, bruv. You have to look at that. You know, he's the one who takes shape of the manager, bruv.
Do you know, you're so right when you talk about that, because I saw so many posts yesterday from people saying, oh my God, look at Unai. After, they were brilliant, I thought, Unai Emery's men were against, who were they playing? Bayern Munich. They were excellent. They really were. And they deserve absolutely all the plaudits that they're getting for that performance. They were absolutely amazing. No doubt about it whatsoever. They were great. But the problem that you have is that people still live in this world where they think the team, the squad, the club, the culture can be bad. You hire a decent manager and it changes. It will never change that quickly if all those things were legitimately rancid. If you actually delve into it with Aston Villa, from when they got relegated until this moment, there has been a process in place to try to get to this point. There's been a process in place. There's been a system in place. The only real mistake, of course, they'll have signed some dud players. Everybody does that. The only real mistake they've made in this 4 or 5 year process at Villa was hiring Gerrard, which is why I sort of look at it from the perspective of you can always hire and make mistakes as owners. You've just got to go and rectify it. There's no way this was a relegation squad with a relegation culture, with relegation scouts, with relegation board of directors, with a relegation plan, with a relegation manager in Steven Gerrard. And then Unai Emery's come in and literally turned all that round himself. I'm taking nothing away from Unai Emery. He's done a brilliant job, but there's no way it's all been fixed by him. And look, Villa fans are probably a lot closer to this than we are. But when it all comes out, you'll see. You go look at Leicester's growth to them winning the league. Now, that was an achievement they didn't expect. But you look at what was going on behind the scenes to get to this point. Everyone's raving about the great job that McKenna's doing at Ipswich to get him to this point. It's true. But now my brother supports a League One team. They were there a couple of years ago. New ownership came in. Huge amounts of investment being spent with a massive plan to get back to the top. McKenna's done a great job on the field of play. But there was a club strategy in place before McKenna arrived. And the problem is, I think Chelsea had a strategy and they made mistakes within it. The issue that they had and why we weren't seeing the fruits of that strategy sooner is because the head coach wasn't right. But there's a reason that Maresca's improved. Yes, he is piggybacked upon what was being done over the last 2 or 3 years, but that should be how all clubs are run. It should never be the manager comes in and we start again from scratch. Otherwise, you'll never, ever, ever get to your end destination. There'll never be enough time.
And that's exactly why you will never see City go from Pep to Conte, bro. Yeah, I don't think City would even go to Tuchel, right? They would go to a manager who has the same principles as Pep in terms of possession style football, playing on the front foot, trying to attack teams, that sort of play, right? A manager that's able to break down low blocks, And another thing as well, Terry, bro, is Maresca spoke about the fact that he managed to keep James Justin and Ricardo Pereira fit majority of last season, bro. They had not one injury between them, bro. And James Justin came back from a big injury, same thing as Ricardo Pereira, right? And we're seeing it here at Chelsea. Everyone right now, apart from Reece James, is fit, yeah? And that's the medical team. The new medical team that we've got clearly are doing their job correctly. And at the same time, this possession-style football, which is not rock and roll, constantly making people run and break themselves, is helping, yeah? We had a lot of injuries in training, and that wasn't by mistake. And that's another thing that Ten Hag has brought to your club as well. That guy, I know your medical team, cool, you need to sort that out. You've got a new one as well. But he's definitely hurting these players in training. Because I had a similar sort of thing with Poch, right? Since Maresca's come in, we've been able to maintain fitness, right? And that's down to him as well. So you've got to big him up, man. Right now we're cooking. I'm going to be at the Bridge at the weekend as well. Hopefully this time we can go into this national break on a W. Because after that, bro, we've got some tough fixtures coming up. You know what I'm saying? We've got some tougher fixtures. That's when a lot more people that are still a bit skeptical, who Sam and them lot, they'll start to maybe change their mind about Chelsea if we get through it and with a couple of W's, bro. Because that's what we need to do now. We need to start beating the bigger teams, man.
No, I agree. I think I think you've set a good foundation. It's kind of going to that next kind of level. And listen, if Cole Palmer, I've made him I haven't. I made him vice captain on my FPL this week because I just keep Haaland as captain every week with the amount of goals he scores. But yeah,
I made Palmer my captain last week, and I changed it for Salah. I changed it for Salah because I was looking at Wolves. They had this whole thing about everyone was ill. Salah tends to spag against Wolves. I thought, yeah, perfect option. But boy, I regretted it, man. I regretted it.
Yeah, I hear you, mate.